Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
On tonight's show, infrastructure concerns and Halloween safety. Hi, I'm Christian Bouchard and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. With the NDP sweep of Windsor-Essex election night, local politicians and experts are unsure if any of the Liberals' infrastructure funding will come to the region. However, the head of Windsor's Chamber of Commerce says it is possible. Sean Prevel tells us more.
More infrastructure funding was one of the biggest promises made by the Liberal Party during the 2015 election campaign. But with Windsor-Essex now completely orange, there's concern the money will not filter down to the region. Political scientist Lydia Miljan says having local MPs part of third-party opposition makes it harder to bring money to the community.
It's going to be more difficult for us to get our voices heard, and I suspect that a lot of that money is going to go to, say, Toronto, where they overwhelmingly voted in favor of the Liberals.
For Mayor Drew Dilkens, the third-party representation concerns him, but he says he won't stop fighting for funds from Ottawa.
So we'll be at the table fighting for our share to make sure that we get a share of the infrastructure dollars that are going to be made available to deliver for this community.
But Windsor-Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce President Matt Marchand says federal representatives are not the only people who can bring money to the area.
We're going to be leveraging our chamber network and our local friends, allies, and partners to bring forward the Windsor-Essex voice.
During the election campaign, Justin Trudeau promised to increase infrastructure spending from the current $65 billion to almost $125 billion and said he would spend that on social infrastructure projects, including affordable housing and seniors' care homes, green projects such as local and wastewater facilities, as well as public transit. Marchand says public transit is a much-needed asset and extra funding could greatly help.
It is an issue that crops up on our chamber surveys to see what we can do to make that transit system a little bit better, a little bit wider, a little bit more frequent.
With Parliament expected to reconvene early in the new year and Trudeau planning to name his cabinet November 4th, those speculating about infrastructure funding reaching Windsor-Essex may not have long to wait. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Sean Preble.
Since the election, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens is confident that the city of Windsor will be heard in Ottawa. Jillian Tillman reports.
Windsor favored Orange but was left with third-party status. But despite the lack of representation in Ottawa, Mayor Drew Dilkens is confident Windsor's voice will be heard.
I will continue to make our voice heard. There'll be a lot of people who make noise to make Windsor's voice heard up in Ottawa, but at the end of the day it's about what can we actually extract from the government in terms of projects and dollars. Our concern is making sure that we get our fair share for this community because we have equal needs like every community in Canada.
Dilkens says ensuring there is a clear plan for the automotive sector is paramount.
The automotive sector, manufacturing and advanced manufacturing is very important to this community. It's our bread and butter, has been for decades and decades. So make sure that we can maintain this plant, that we're competitive as a region, as a province, and as a country. And we're going to need help from the province and the federal government to make sure that we can maintain our competitiveness.
Political science professor Lydia Miljan from the University of Windsor says the city will benefit from microeconomic policies. However, she says infrastructure dollars may not be as abundant as past years.
But certainly infrastructure dollars are going to be a big part of the next budget. The Prime Minister-elect, in fact, had promised new infrastructure spending. And that's where it gets tricky for places like Windsor because we don't have any champion at the caucus table. We don't have somebody saying, well, you know, my constituents, you know, voted for us, we promised this, you've got to now get this project a go in our jurisdiction.
Dilkens says he will look further than the 4-year political cycle to accomplish Windsor's planned project goals. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Jillian Tillman.
It's time for an early look at the weather, and Don Gray is down at the corner of University and Victoria. Don?
Well, it's not raining yet, but it's going to. Have one of these handy if you plan on going out tonight. You will need it. It's going to be wet for sure with temperatures around 10 Celsius. I'll be back a little later with your 3-day forecast. Christian?
Preparing for the future is always a smart move. And as Boswell Lee reports, it is something the city of Windsor is taking very seriously.
Windsor can hope to see many upcoming changes in the next 2 decades. The municipal government's 20-year vision for Windsor brought a handful of people together to share their concerns and views. Ward 3 Councillor Reno Bortlin said the plan will be mapped out over 6 months to a year.
There's only so much the municipality can do. We can make it, we can make it attractive for the businesses that come. We can control the tax rates. We can, make sure the downtown is kept and an attractive place to be. But there's a lot of different things. So one of my priorities is trying to get more people to live in the downtown core.
There is also a survey residents can take, which the council will take in consideration for developing the plan. The Fire and Rescue Services Chief Bruce Montan said he is confident public safety is very high on the list.
Public safety and security is very high on the list of priorities. And so as the plan gets further developed and brought together, and once they start to create the initiatives, I'm very confident that our issues relative to public safety will certainly find their way into the plan.
Although the plan isn't released yet, residents of Windsor will be updated in months to come. I'm Abbas Wali for MediaPlex News Now.
Mayor Drew Dilkins dropped by the MediaPlex today and talked with reporter Abbas Wali.
Hello, I'm Abbas Wali and welcome to 3-Minute with Mayor Drew Dilkins. So Drew Dilkins, did you achieve your goals for your first year in office?
Well, today, as a matter of fact, happens to be the first year, or at least the 1-year anniversary since the election. The actual term started on December the 1st, and so we're well into the first year of the term. And with respect to the objectives, what I really hope to accomplish this year was really to set the stage moving forward for the next few years on council, and then of course moving forward for the next 20 years with the creation of a 20-year strategic plan for the city. So we're well underway on that. We're well through the public consultation period on that 20-year plan, and I'm excited about how far we've come in the first nearly 1 year.
What improvement will see Windsor in the years to come?
Well, I think our primary objective certainly is to focus on employment. We recognize we still have high unemployment, and we're doing everything we can to create the environment that's worthy of investment, but also to try and diversify our economy using the skill sets that we have here in the community. And so there's been a lot of focus on economic development and job creation because that's really important for our community today.
How can Windsor's voice will be heard, and provincially or federally?
Well, that's been a topic of much conversation since the federal election last week, and we've elected members both at the provincial and federal level who aren't part of government at either level. But it really, you have to rely on the networks that you have and the contacts that you have as a community, and then it's also incumbent upon me as mayor and city councilors to reach out to the contacts that we have that we need to reach in order to make sure that we can secure the investment that we need for the community, to make sure that our voice and our ideas are heard so that we're included as part of the planning mix at both the provincial and federal levels.
We heard that there is a new airline will start its flight from Windsor International Airport as soon as December. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've been working for over a year to try and attract another airline with direct service from the city of Windsor. So we have National Airlines, which operates out of Orlando Sanford Airport. They start operations on the 17th of December. They will have nonstop flights between Windsor and Orlando twice a week on Thursdays and Sundays. And they have a great looking plane. It's a fantastic plane, especially for a tall guy like me. They've got lots of room in economy class. And I think people are really going to like the service direct from Windsor. We've moved a lot of things along at Windsor Airport, having one airline in the past, Air Canada with service to Toronto. Now we have Air Canada, we have Porter, we have WestJet, we have Sunwing, we have National, and we also have AirTran, who's going to be offering service to Cancun. So there's some exciting things happening at the airport. We see that as an area for future investment and future development, and we think there's going to be a lot of good things happening there as we move forward in the next few years as well.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Abbas Wali, and this has been 3 Minutes with Mayor Drew Dilkins.
Residents in the city are concerned over traffic speeds in their neighborhoods. And as Dan Gray explains, the city wants to update a decade-old policy.
Traffic flies down the road through the intersection of Richmond and Silver. The corner is blind and accidents happen frequently, according to residents. Joe Baker has lived near the intersection since 1984 and worries about the safety of pedestrians and cyclists at the intersection.
This intersection isn't doing what it's supposed to do. And what it's supposed to be doing is it's supposed to be making it a place where people can cross safely, and confusion is at a minimum.
The city is well aware of the problem it faces when it comes to traffic, according to Ward 5 Councillor Ed Sleeman. He says that updating the traffic calming policy should allow for intersections like those at Richmond and Silver to be safer.
I think safety, that's number one. The safety of the resident, the safety of the school kid crossing the street, safety of seniors or everybody else.
Windsor Police will also admit that problems exist all over the city, and a lot of the problems occur during rush hours. Constable Andrew Drulard of Windsor Police Service says they work with the city and residents when problems are identified.
Traffic officers will figure out which areas those are, and if people are speeding in those specific areas, then they'll target those areas with enforcement, right?
Windsor Police stopped 12,500 vehicles in 2012. They will soon be implementing a new program to help residents of the city report traffic violations.
What we're going to have in the next month or so is a place that people can come online to report traffic issues that they're having in their neighborhood.
With the amount and different types of traffic increasing in the city, having police offer new ways to report issues and updating the policy to address problems are some of the steps being taken to make everyone safer. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Dan Gray.
After years of sexual abuse, former NHL player Sheldon Kennedy is trying to raise awareness of the long-term effects sexual abuse has on victims. Sean Prevel reports.
The reality is hockey wasn't a great experience for me growing up, but yet hockey gave me the opportunity to do what I'm doing today.
Former NHL player Sheldon Kennedy is trying to raise awareness of sexual abuse after his own experience at the hands of hockey coach Graham James. Kennedy says he wants people to recognize how sexual abuse can lead to other issues for victims.
The reality is you're what you're dealing with from that point forward are mental health issues in the community.
The World Junior Champion filed complaints against James in 1996, and over the span of almost 2 decades, 5 other victims came forward, resulting in 2 prison sentences for the coach, the last of which started in 2012 and continues today. Kennedy wrote a book called Why I Didn't Say Anything in order to tell his story and answer the question which often causes struggle amongst victims.
Not only to paint the picture and give people that have been abused validation that it's probably not their fault, but also give people that are surrounded by individuals that are struggling in some way, shape, or form a clear understanding of maybe why.
Windsor Police Detective Sean Bender with the Major Crimes Unit attended Kennedy's talk at St. Clair College last week. Bender says the talk helped break misconceptions about the issues.
They happen. Sexual assaults happen. Maybe that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that they don't really exist.
Kennedy says he also gives recognition to first responders because he sees the struggles they deal with when they help victims.
I always give a shout out to the front line because they do difficult work.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Sean Prevel.
It's time to go back out onto the streets, where Don Gray is going to tell us what we can expect for the rest of the week. Don?
Well, it's dry so far, but we are in for the remnants of Hurricane Patricia, which some have said was the strongest storm on record. In fact, there is a rain and flood watch. Let's take a look at what we have in store. Wednesday, rain, rain, and more rain, with a high of 16 and a low of 8. Thursday will be a mix of sun and clouds and a cool high of 8 and a low of 5. And finally, Friday, we can expect mainly sunny skies with a high of 10 and a low of 6. That's it for me from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you, Christian.
Recently, the president and CEO of Hotel du Grace Healthcare sat down with Caleb Workman in studio for this edition of 5 Minutes With.
Hi, I'm Caleb Workman, and today we'll be spending 5 minutes with Janice Caffer. Janice is the President and Chief Executive Officer at Hotel du Grace Healthcare. Hi, Janice.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how about yourself?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, you work with the hospital, and a lot of people have been getting confused about the Hotel du Grace Healthcare and with the old hospital that's on Willette. Could you tell us a little bit about the difference between the two?
Well, I can, thank you for asking, because we've been on this journey to educate the community about what changed in 2013. And back in October of 2013, Hotel du Grace Hospital converted from an acute care enterprise to post-acute. So we packed up and moved to the Prince Road campus and became Hotel du Grace Healthcare, which is what we are now. And the Willette campus, Hotel du Grace Hospital, ceased to exist, and the Windsor Regional team took over all operations on the Willette campus. So now Windsor Regional operates the Lens Avenue, or the Metropolitan site, and the Willette Avenue campus that used to be Hotel du Grace Hospital.
Okay, so you've been developing a lot of community partnerships. Can you tell us a little bit about those and the importance?
Well, our philosophy actually is that hospitals aren't able to exist and provide the care we need to provide, and provide the care we probably will need to provide into the future unless we have community partnerships. So one good example of one that we've been working on over the past year and a little bit is with the Canadian Mental Health Association, which is very much a community agency. They are the leader in community mental health services, and we provide a great deal of community and hospital-based mental health services. So they're a natural partner for us. So we've been working very closely with them now for the past year. We have some integrated management positions, so we share managers across the two organizations. And we're moving forward with some other integration opportunities that is really designed to improve that client and family experience of services from both organizations.
Okay, so can you tell us of the importance that you find at the healthcare unit of these relationships?
Well, I think that as healthcare continues to evolve, Caleb, it's going to be really important that hospitals think a little bit outside of the box. And so we used to always imagine that the only reason we existed was for people to come to us and get services, and then we send them back out into the community. But the vision that's starting to evolve is that we have to be one with the community and start thinking differently about how we provide service. So more and more we're in partnership with other agencies, in some cases non-traditional agencies, and you'll see Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare specifically move more into that space in the coming probably next 2 to 5 years.
Okay, and is there any expansion that you guys are looking at right now currently?
We are looking at expanding. So as part of the new hospital system that's being developed, and if you take a look at the windsorhospitals.ca website, you'll see that there's a great deal of expansion planned for our Prince Road or TAFOR campus. In the vision that's being created for a new hospital system in Windsor, Essex, we take on all the acute care mental health service delivery. So we have a large expansion at the TAFOR campus. All the acute care beds, about 60 of them, will come to us and we'll have a build there. We'll also be expanding into some satellite dialysis services for those folks who need that service, and as well as some expanded diagnostic. In terms of community partnerships, we're just starting to really explore what it will look like for us as we look at something called chronic disease management services. So that's services that people have after they've had a heart attack, or if they have kidney disease or things like that. How do we support them to live life healthy in the community and not need to be coming into hospital all the time?
Okay, so maybe briefly, with the World Health Innovation Network, that's been a big move in Windsor right now. Maybe briefly you could tell us what your role in it is.
Well, we have a supporting role there. We have a great partnership with the University of Windsor and with the Odette School, and so for us, we've been working with Dr. Sue and his team to really look at how can we look at research and innovation across Windsor and into the Detroit area from a cross-border initiative perspective. So I think that you'll see that there's an awful lot of developments. We have rehabilitative care and mental health services specifically that we'll be able to work with them on.
Okay, thank you so much. It's
You're
been an honor.
welcome.
I'm Cale Workman, and this has been 5 Minutes with Janice Caffer.
High school students had a chance to check out some of the programs and courses St. Clair has to offer. Jordan Cachera was there.
Students from across the city piled into the St. Clair gym for the annual college information program. Students received information about programs and were offered a glimpse into what their future may hold. Sammy Morrow, a high school student, says the program definitely helped him.
Yes, I think that helped me make up my mind of what I want for my future, because I get more information on the program that I'm going into. I already knew what I wanted to do, but looking at some of the different opportunities at the stations that I went, it changed my mind a little bit. Yeah.
Eli DeCredico, a professor at the college, says the event is important for students.
We have this every year, and it shows all the programs we have here at the college, and plus the other colleges from the southwestern and GTA area come here and show their wares also. So it's very, very important for the students from the high school students from this area.
Lyman Ng, student liaison and recruitment coordinator, says the program is in place for the potential students.
Certainly, this is one of many recruitment activities that St. Clair College is involved with to help maintain and increase enrollment.
For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Jordan Cachera.
Reporter Rhiannon Lotz joins us to explain how we can all enjoy an entertaining Halloween.
Trick or treat.
It's no trick that Halloween is almost here, but it certainly is a treat, and I'm going to give you all the spooky news in this Entertainment Minute. Fans of Tim Burton's classic film, The Nightmare Before Christmas, have always been torn over whether it's a Halloween or a Christmas movie. Well, the debate has finally been settled. The movie's director, Henry Selick, has said that it is, in fact, a Halloween film. However, you'll get no judgment from most fans or myself if you still want to cuddle up with a bowl of candy canes and re-watch this morbid musical at a more festive and joyous time. The first trailer for Pride and Prejudice and Zombies has been released just in time for Halloween. In the 2.5-minute teaser, Lizzie Bennet slays zombies and hearts as she fights to survive in a world filled with the undead, side by side with her sisters and the object of her affection, Mr. Darcy. Bennet is portrayed by Lily James of Downton Abbey, with Sam Riley as her leading man. That's it for this week. I'm Rhiannon Lotz, and this has been your Entertainment Minute.
Halloween safety is always important. Alana Wills is here with some tips.
Thanks, Christian. Halloween is almost here, which of course means trick-or-treating. I met up with Michael Lucier of the Safety Village to discuss some tips of how to stay safe this year.
With October quickly coming to an end, Halloween is on everyone's mind. Although the night is a fun tradition for kids, there are some hazards both kids and parents should be wary of. Michael Lucier from the Safety Village explains.
Do a visual inspection of all the candy, and what we often overlook is the most obvious thing with the candy is eat it in moderation. Your kids are going to come home with a giant bag full of sugar and sweets and treats. Try to have them spread it out over time instead of eating the whole bag in one night.
With Halloween falling on a Saturday this year, kids aren't the only one who should use caution when celebrating.
Remember the most obvious, it's not just about you. If you're out, there are going to be a lot of other people out, whether you're downtown or wherever you're going. So drive safely and pay attention for anyone who can walk out in between parked cars or just in and out of traffic.
All in all, remember to have fun, use your judgment, and have a spooktacular time. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alana Wills.
And for any additional information, you can visit the website listed below. From everyone here at the MediaPlex, have a safe and happy Halloween. Back to you, Christian.
What do firefighters and the Windsor Symphony Orchestra have in common? Alex Latremoy explains.
The Windsor Symphony Orchestra has often been associated with performances such as this. On the weekend, it was a lot different. Yes, the Capitol Theater was quite literally on fire last weekend. The cause? A collaborative bash between the Windsor Symphony Orchestra and Fire Sound, called Burning Love. Fire Sound is a Toronto-based band of firefighters seeking to raise money for charity. Its bassist, Patrick McPhail, said the WSO initiated the project. Although 18 months in the making, he said it was worth it.
The members of Fire Sound, we kind of agreed that it might be an okay venture, and off we went. So it's been 18 months of excitement and joy and confusion and anxiety, but here we are, and now here we are. It's working out great.
Windsorites lit up when they saw it, according to the WSO's music director, Robert Franz.
I think that our community has really responded to it for a couple of reasons. One, it's great music, first and foremost. But secondly, these guys are so full of heart. You know, all of the CDs that they sell, they give their donation, they give away the proceeds to charities. It's really special to see what it is that they're doing.
Although not the first of its kind, Burning Love's modern twist is helping rekindle people's interest in the WSO. With previous endeavors involving people like Chris Hadfield and hard rock music, one can only imagine what's next for the symphony. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alex Latremoy.
The theatrical classic West Side Story is coming to Chatham. Julia Pullman reports.
West Side Story is a modern-day Romeo and Juliet exploring the rivalries of street gangs and prejudice, and is coming to Chatham, Ontario. In November, West Side Story is being performed at Chatham's Capitol Theatre and is produced by local theatre company Opposite Town Productions. The show features a local casting of all ages. This production of West Side Story trails their Legally Blonde production from last year. Actress Lauren Fiocco is playing the character Anybody's in the upcoming production. said she is looking forward to the show because she gets to work with great people.
I'm super excited for the show. We have an awesome cast. Everyone is great. I love working with the people that I get to work with. We have rehearsals every Sunday and Tuesdays, and everyone's so excited for the show to be performed in November.
The show officially opens on Saturday, November 21st and closes on Saturday, November 28th. Opposite Town Productions will be having a special preview after Chatham's Santa Claus Parade on Friday, November 20th. Tickets for West Side Story are $30 and are available through St. Clair College's Capitol Theater website. For MediaPlex News, I'm Julie Pullman.
The St. Clair Saints men's baseball team have all the makings of a dynasty. Here's my report.
A dynasty is brewing at St. Clair. The St. Clair Saints men's baseball team has recorded their first perfect season in program history. After a 20-0 perfect season, many are starting to recognize the great job head coach Dave Cooper has done. Since Cooper has taken over the reins as head coach, he has led the team to 3 consecutive OCAA championships. Cooper says what has contributed to his success has been the recruitment of players from the summer baseball team he has coached on this very diamond for over 6 years now. The Tecumseh Thunder have proved to be a perennial powerhouse over the years, winning 3 national championships under head coach Dave Cooper.
Again, with the Thunder, we have, I don't know the exact number right now, but there's got to be, more than 6 or 8 kids that played on our junior team this year. Cunningham played on the senior team. So, the Thunder organization, Tecumseh organization knows what we're running at St. Clair, and that's definitely hands-on there. So, it's a big advantage playing here.
Eric Cunningham is one of over 5 players to play under head coach Cooper for both the Thunder and Saints. Cunningham was a recipient of the Male Athlete of the Year award last year at St. Clair and posted a .548 batting average this season for the Saints. With all his achievements in his baseball career, he credits his coach for much of his success.
The schools are going to get what they get all summer. A guy who's there 100% of the time, giving in 100% work, BP every day until his arm falls off. So everything he does is just benefiting the team. The Panamanians, that's just a St. Clair thing, and they came here, and you know what? Even those guys are learning from Coop, so there's no language barrier either. He's just teaching 100% of the time.
While the Saints have been cruising to victories over the years, Cooper says there are always challenges the team must overcome.
Sit there, watch how many men we left on base, stuff like that. We're not desperate. We're not desperate enough on offense, and that's a big struggle right now, and I hope it doesn't bite us this weekend.
Dave Cooper coached the Saints to their 3rd straight OCAA men's baseball championship this past weekend. Having now won 33 straight games under head coach Cooper with the Saints, he is now recognized into the Windsor-Essex County Sports Hall of Fame, but not for a coach, but as a player. I'm Christian Bouchard.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Christian Bouchard, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.
I got a gut feeling with St. Clair that was great, and I definitely wasn't let down. It was just home. Like, I wasn't uncomfortable, I wasn't uneasy, it felt nice. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.